Hello everybody, it's Dana Sullivan, the Stampin' Chick, here with another Make It Monday! How are you today, my friends? I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Today, I am going to try to cool things down just a little bit, and we're going to do a super cute Christmas in July. Now, I don't know about you, but it is hotter than Hades outside. So, I need something to cool me down. I don't know about you all. Oh, I like it too hot. Who's with me? See how we're doing. Okay. Hi, Miss Luann. How are you, darling? Hopefully my internet will hold out for me. Hi, Rose. How's it going from Lancaster, California? All right. Your friends, and because sharing crafting with friends is lots of fun, right? Okay, so today I'm going to be doing some really cute stuff with the Trees for Sale stamp set and the coordinating tree lot dying with it than even it was in the catalog, so that's always nice. And then the coordinating dies are free with a purchase in the celebration brochure. So this absolutely gorgeous camper, the little sign post has a die. You've got the different trees, the strands of lights, the light pole. This is a little tree stand, a little Charlie Brown tree. Isn't that cute? It's right here. So anyway, that information. Okay. Now, I absolutely love this set. I think it's so pretty. And even though this is Christmas themed, using some of the elements of it and some of the dye, easily turn this into a feminine birth of different things. So you're able to do a whole lot with this really, really versatile stamp set and die set, right? So let's go ahead and get started with what we're going to need for today's project. And some of the stamped trees here. And then I'm using one of our slimline envelopes for this because I brought in some mint macaron cardstock and I thought, you know what, why not? Since this is mint macaron for the envelope, it ties together nicely. And I put little paw prints to go along with the little dog here on the inside. And I thought that was great too. So anyway, this is a lot of fun, and we'll go ahead and get started, okay? So what you're going to need is a piece of 8.5 by 7-inch cardstock. This is Blushing Bride cardstock, and I've scored it at 3.5 inches. So, and that's on the 7-inch side, right? So I've got it at 7 inches. I score it 3.5, and then this gives me a 3.5 by 8.5 inch card base, which is perfect for the slimline envelopes. So you can see there. All right, so I have my base, and then I have a piece of the new Cottage Gingham 12 by 12 designer series paper. This is in the new holiday catalog, and it's actually really neat. It's a huge pack of paper, and let me just grab it for you right quick. I don't think I realized when I ordered it how big of a pack it is, but it's like 48 sheets, and it has lots of different colors. It has the smaller gingham pattern and the larger gingham pattern for each page. Very, very cool, and it's got a lot of the colors from different from the different collections too. So you've got some neutrals, you've got a couple regals, you've got some brights, so it's really nice. And it's in the holiday catalog. So this piece measures 8 3/8 inch by 3 3/8 inch, and that's just slightly smaller than the card front. And then I have a piece, another strip of basic white cardstock that measures 8 inches for the front of our card. Now, you don't have to write down or remember all of these measurements. My blog post for today should be live about now. You can head over there, and the measurements as well as the supply list are all over there. Okay, so you don't have to worry about any of a pile of scraps. So I have some Mossy Meadow and mint macaron. These I used for the trees here, the little die cut trees. And this piece of white cardstock I used for the snowy stuff on the front here. And I have a piece of silver foil. This is for the base of that super, super stinking cute camper. I have always wanted one of these campers in real life, and when I saw the die set, honestly, I didn't even see the stamp set in the holiday catalog before I saw these dies, and that camper is absolutely what sold it for me. I love the camper. Now I'm so glad that I got the stamp set and the dies, because it's a really, really cute set, but I just love that camper. It is so cute. So this silver is going to be the background for the camper. And then the Blushing Bride is going to be for the accent panels on the camper. I've got soft suede here for the light pole. I have Garden Green and Real Red. This is for the wreath and the bow on the door. I've got a white panel for the sign. I have a 2-inch by 3/4 inch piece of gray granite cardstock that's going to be for the background of the camper. This is going to be for the windows, because I didn't want to be able to see through, you know, to the tree background. I wanted something that made it look a little more substantial. So, hi, Miss Linda. How's it going? Oh, girl, once you've done weeding your garden, feel free to come and weed mine. Oh, it's so hot out there. I hate weeding in the summertime. Blech. Okay, and then I have a couple of little pieces here. These are for the door and the little scalloped curtain trimming on the camper. Now, I have done a lot of pre-die cutting for us so that we don't take all night long. So I'm just going to move all of this stuff aside and show you what I have, okay? I have the silver camper base. I've got the Blushing Bride accent panels, and now you can see what they look like die cut. Thank you so much for sharing, Linda. I appreciate it. I also have each of the 3 sizes of the white snowy accents for the trees, as well as mint macaron large and small tree and Mossy Meadow medium tree. And then I have the light pole. I have already gone ahead to stamp and cut the light strands, and I only did that because I wanted to get all of the die cutting out of the way ahead of time. So anything that needed to be die cut, I went ahead and stamped ahead, but I will still be able to show you how I did the background and everything else, so don't worry. And then I've got the sign. I have the little dog for the inside, and I'm going to tell you how I got the door for the camper. And the little curtain trim piece, I don't know if you can see very well. It's probably trying to blur, but my wreath, so the Garden Green and Real Red for the wreath. And then last but not least, I've got the 3 little stands for the Christmas trees. Okay. Alright, so that's all the little bits and pieces. That's everything that was in that stack that I showed you that I've pre-die cut for you. Okay, now, how I got the door is I took a scrap of white and I lined it up with the die just over the top of the door like this and ran it through the machine, and then it came out with a little bit of border around it, and I fussy cut right where the embossed line is for the door. Okay, so that's how I got the door itself. You can see that it's exactly the same as the silver door is, but of course I wanted to be able to make it different than the rest of the camper, so I decided to make a white door. Alright, let me set this stuff out of the way here for just a second so that I don't lose any bits and pieces. And I'm going to start by assembling the camper and set these aside right quick as well, so we can do that. And we'll color our little light strands as well, because I want them to dry for just a minute. I'm going to be using Wink of Stella to make them sparkle like blend, dark Daffodil Delight, dark Parakeet Party, and light Starry Sky. Okay, and I'm just going to be filling in the little globes here, so I'll go along just adding a little color. I'm putting them in an order, just repeating it because, you know, I don't want to have to fuss with making sure I don't have any duplicates together. Kind of persnickety that way. Alright, there we go. And then I could have done the counting, but that's okay. It's okay. It's a Monday. I'm not required. How is everyone doing today? I hope that you guys are all doing very well. There we go. And then here and here. I don't think that we've chatted since before the 4th of July, so for all of my American friends, I hope you all had a fabulous 4th of July. We don't typically do much for 4th of July. We try to stay close to the house because sometimes some folks behind us light off fireworks and it scares the livestock. So if we stay close, then we're able to kind of keep that under control. So there's a little community nearby that does fireworks as well, and they're really pretty, so we get to see really nice displays, but we don't have to go and deal with big crowds of people, which is fabulous. Alright, I'm just dotting a little bit of Wink of Stella over each of the globes here, just to give them a little twinkle. And I'm doing this, like I said, so that this will dry just a little bit and I won't get it everywhere on me. Wink of Stella tends to take a minute to dry, so let's see here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now then, I'm going to set these off the side a little bit. Let them dry. Okay, now I'm gonna take my smaller piece of basic white cardstock. This is the one that measures 8 inches by 3 inches, and I'm gonna bring in a little scrap of paper here because we're gonna be stamping the tree backgrounds. Alright, so what we need are the big tree and the medium-sized tree, and for the stamp set there are two. This is a two-step Stampin' set. You have the background and you have the accent section. Okay, so I'm going to stamp the backgrounds on first, and then I'll come back and do the accents. And I like to stamp off the backgrounds just a bit, so that way it's not quite in your face. You know, it's a bit softer, and then it's easier to see the accent too. So I'm going to stamp it off and then slide that back over here. And I'm going to do this each time, which seems kind of tedious, but you don't want it to be too bright because you don't want to be distracted by the background so that you don't see the foreground, right? You want this to be a nice soft background area. So we're just going to stamp a few of these trees. Okay. And then I'm going to come in with the accent. Hi, Bryn. How's it going? Thanks for coming. Okay, and then the accent is actually just going to go right up over the top of it. So it's going to leave a nice little texture to the trees, which is really cute. Okay. Make sure I'm getting in here and trying to keep my head out of the way. Because I'm too stepping out one side and tilting my head the other direction, you know, just to be sure that I get it right. All right, now I'm going to bring in the Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to do the exact same thing for a couple of the medium-sized pieces, okay? So I've done the bigger, and I'm really letting the ink on the stamp tell me how many times I need to do that, okay? So if it looks like it's a little bit richer, like right here, it's lighter up towards the top, but it's a little darker towards the bottom. So I'm going to put a little more pressure towards the bottom just to get more of an even, you know, kind of even blend there, because for whatever reason, my Mossy Meadow ink, it tends to dry out quickly, and it kind of, I don't know, it's just weird. It gets a little like splotchy or something. So I need to get a new ink pad, and I haven't done. Just gonna work with that best we can. And actually, in this particular case, it works out really well. It gives me some nice accents that I didn't really have to try for. All right, now that I have the background done, and you can see how easy that was to do. Really, this is just two little trees. So it's just a really nice way of building it up and making it look a more fuller tree farm here. So, all right, let me grab the card front. Now, I haven't done the inside yet. I will stamp that here in a minute. But let's go ahead and work on getting the front done here. So I'm going to add a little bit of Stampin' Seal. I'm actually using Seal Plus. I just find it's a little easier for me to add some adhesive to the back side of it as well. And apply it to the... So we're doing all of this directly because we have some pieces that we are going to be popping up on dimensionals. So remember, I typically say you're safe with about 2 layers of dimensionals, with a single stamp before it's on there. So I really like being able to stick with a single stamp. And because this is a letter sized envelope, it's only going to take 1 single stamp. So it's not a special stamp just because it's more than a rectangular one. I don't know the answer to that. I just know that rectangular envelopes are cheaper. So there we go. All right, now for the little trees, each of them needs to be stamped. And I'm going to try to do this without getting in the camera way here. So let me just bring my Pierce mat back in. And basically I'm doing the exact same thing that I did a minute ago. I'm using mint macaron accents on the mint macaron pieces, and I'm using Mossy Meadow accent on the Mossy Meadow piece. And I'm stamping these full strength. Oh, I didn't need the medium one on that one, sorry. I needed the large. There we go. Let me see if I can get that pretty good. All right, and then the small on the other one. And it's pretty easy to see through the clear stamps for these ones, so that works out pretty well. All right, now I'm going to close this one up, bring in the Mossy Meadow and the medium one now. Get some ink going here. There we go. All right. Now that we have those, we're going to attach each of these little pieces to the front. Now, I wanted to stamp the accents on first because when I was designing the card, I had initially just laid this piece over the colored cardstock, and it's amazing how much texture that little bit adds. It really does. So you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I really thought that it added something texture-wise to the tree. So now I'm just going to take my multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm going to very lightly brush it with some glue all over the back side of this white piece here so that I can attach it to the tree base. Now I am being very light-handed with this because that glue really is really spreads quickly, so a little dab will do ya. Alright, just a tiny little bit. So I'm holding it here a second so that I can see it broaching the end of the tip there, so that way I don't get too heavy-handed with it, and just swiping it along. There we go. Okay. And I don't have to get every inch of it. I'm just trying to get most of the tips there so that way it gets a decent hold. Alright, and then approximately there. Looks pretty good. Isn't that cute? They're so neat. Alright, and then the last one. There we go. Alright, very nice. And one more here. Oop, slide down just a little. There we go. There we go. Good. Good, good, good. Alright, now that we have that, let's go ahead and start assembling our camper. I will tell you that foil papers are really persnickety when it comes to glue. If you're the kind of person that gets glue all over your fingers and paper and everything else, foil paper is really sensitive about that. I mean, the tiniest little touch puts a smudge on there and it's a pain in the neck to get off. So what I like to do is, again, I'm using just enough to come to the end of the tip, and I'm applying the glue very gently and very thin to the sections of the camper directly. Okay, so I'm putting this glue directly onto the foil. That way, when I'm grabbing these pieces, I'm not getting glue on my fingers. I'm able to hold this entire thing and it has no glue on it, so I'm not going to transfer glue. And then I'm going to start at the area that's not glued and set my piece down and then slide it up, okay? So that way it keeps me from spreading glue all over the silver parts. Alright, and then the same thing here on the bottom. I'm just giving it a very light, and I mean super thin layer of glue, okay? It is not bubbled up at all. It is barely adding a streak onto the paper, okay? Just very thin amount is all it needs. Alright. And then again with this piece, turn it around here, and I'm going to start at the end that doesn't have glue and set it down towards the side that does. Okay, there we go. And then just like that. Alright, now then, I don't have glue anywhere else, and that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. Now I'm going to take the door, and again, the exact same way, I'm going to put the glue onto the door panel area itself. And we be very careful around the window area here because there's just a little thin section. Alright, now if you are going to get glue everywhere, this may not be the best way to do it. So just be very, very, very light-handed. That's all I can stress to you. Be very light-handed. Alright, it's not hard. You just have to be light. Okay, there you go. And then we end up with a fabulous door. Alright, now then, I'm going to take my wreath and I'm going to add glue directly to it in just 4 little tiny spots because I'm not touching the silver directly, and I want this to go right over where the hole is. Okay, so just like that. Alright, and then I'm going to put a dot of glue here at the bottom, and that's where my cute little bow is going to go. Okay, there we go. Alright, now then, we'll give that just a second, and we'll put this piece on the window, but we're going to flip this over, so we want that to have just a second before we do that. So what I'm going to do is grab that gray granite piece of cardstock that I told you about. This is the 2" by 3/4 inch piece, and I'm going to make lines on it. I'm using the dark gray granite marker, and basically what I was talking about is, you see, if we were to just put this on, you'd be able to see the tree through the camper, and it just looks like it's completely hollow, and you know, it's not very substantial. But when you see it like this, it looks like it has tinted windows, right? And so we kind of close it off a bit. So that's what I'm doing with this piece. I'm going to take this strip of cardstock, gray granite cardstock, with the gray granite marker, and I'm going to grab my scrap paper because I tend to go off the lines. Okay, so I'm just going to, you know, little streaky, come here, hold on. Little streakies, doesn't need to be anything specific or particular. In fact, I'm going to come the opposite direction here on the other end and finish it up. There we go. Now it's going to dry, and you know, this is just going to kind of give us the appearance of a reflection. Okay, so we've got that there. Now then, I want to bring this up because I think it's probably dry at this point, and I'm going to add a teeny tiny touch, again, very light, gentle hand, across the top of the window. And I don't want it to bead up. I'm just putting enough to spread it on here very, very thin, okay? Now I can put that away for a second, and I need to bring that paper off so that we can see what we're doing here. I've got my little curtain piece laid down, and I'm going to go over the top of it with the camper this way, okay? That way I can see what I'm doing, and the glue is attaching directly to the cardstock piece, just like how we've done all of the other pieces, okay? So we have this cute little ruffled curtain right over the top. Okay, and then now that we've got that, we can add a little bit of glue around the windows. So again, just be really light-handed. I mean, this glue is really tacky glue. It doesn't need much. One bottle of this stuff should last you a little while. Okay, so let's go ahead and go around the circle window too. And we don't need to go all the way to the edges because I don't know that the panel even goes that far. We just want it to cover all of the window areas, okay? So let me bring this in, and I'm just going to go over, let me turn it, I want to go this way. Yeah, there we go. Want to make sure that my windows are covered. and then I'm going to give it a good press down, and now my camper is done. Okay, you like that? I love this camper. It is so stinking cute. Okay, now that we have the camper done, I want to get some dimensionals and put on the back side of it just so that I'm able to see what I'm doing and being able to place things, because we're going to be placing the light strand. We're going to attach it to the back side of the camper as well. So we're going to just do that, and it looks like that little corner of cardstock kind of sticks over. So I'm just going to stick my scissors under there and snip it off. You see what I did? I just snipped that corner. Hi Elaine, how's it going? Miss Kim, how's it going? Kim, I was thinking about you when I made this card because Kim is one of my girls. She actually lives down the road from me, so she's been to my studio, and I know that you probably remember, and some of you, some of the rest of you may as well, because I've posted it on my blog. But right across the room from me is a rosette that I made using the Whimsy and Wonder set from last year's Christmas. I did it last year about Christmas time, and I've posted it on my blog. I know it's there, telling how to do the rosette. Anyway, I used that as inspiration for this card. So the color scheme, all of that is the same, as you can see, with the Blushing Bride, the Mossy Meadow, the Mint Macaron. So I was looking at that. I was looking at that for inspiration, and I thought of my friend Kim because she loves the Whimsy and Wonder collection from last year's holiday catalog. So I thought she probably would really like this. Elaine, you like the camper set? Yes, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I am in love with the camper. And see how much better it looks with that background in there now? Now the camper actually looks like a substantial camper, not just a little something standing there like a cardboard cutout standing in front. All right, now then, we have the light pole, and we've got our 2 light strands, which I think are dry enough to handle now. We have our trees for sale sign, and we've still got our little tree stands. Now, I'll go ahead and do the little tree stands so I don't forget them or lose them or anything like that. And again, I'm going to do a tiny bit of this liquid glue. You guys are going to get tired of hearing me say just a tiny, tiny bit. A little dab will do ya. Not even a whole dab, just a little touch. Okay? You can see, or maybe you can't, but I don't know if you can see that or not. Teeny, teeny, tiny little touches. Okay? And I've just put it on the top 2 of the cross pieces so that I can tuck it just underneath the tree like that. Alright, and I'm going to do that for all 3 of these little pieces. I'm just a tiny little touch of glue. A little tiny dab. There we go. And then this one. Teeny tiny dab again. Here we go. Very nice. Okay, now the trees are ready. And the only one of the trees that's getting popped up is the Mossy Meadow one, the middle-sized one. So I'm going to put this dimensional partially over the stand as well. I like doing that to help hold my bits and pieces together. And then the trees for sale sign needs to be popped up on dimensionals as well. And I'm actually going to take one whole one and just cut it in half. Alright, because the sign is pretty small, and if we turn our little dimensional this way, we can cover almost the entire back and just use one dimensional. Okay, so now we have all that done. Now I have my little dog over here, but he goes on the inside, so I'll show you that here in just a minute. Okay, but what we need to do is we've got our light pole here, and we want to take the little light strands and a tiny little dot of glue again. right at the top where that kind of bulb is, and press this side down, and it's gonna go kind of like that, and then press this side down to go downward at an angle. Now we're gonna have to start doing a little bit of finagling here, and this is where liquid glue really comes into play, because it takes just a second or two to dry, so you're able to fiddle with it just a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to kind of set my camper how I want it, and I think that's going to be pretty darn close to where I needed it to go. So something like that is just about right. Very good. Well, thank you, Miss Deb. I'm glad that you like it. All right, now, again, a tiny little touch of glue right here on the end of the light strand. And I'm going to touch it to the camper so that way it holds. And there we go. Okay, so we've got our camper piece and everything put together. We'll give it just a second to dry so that we'll be able to lift it off, glue it all down, and stick it directly to the card front. Okay. Alrighty. While we're doing that, I'm going to take this piece and give it just a little bit of the liquid glue. And it'll go right about here. This piece is gonna go right about here. And this piece will go right about here. Alright, now we have that stuff glued down. Alright, let me grab this piece. And again, with the little touches of glue, I'm actually kind of cheating and just putting dots on behind the light bulbs, so that works. And then pulling the backings off of my dimensionals. All right, here we go. Now then, I really need to set my camper down first, because that kind of dictates where everything else goes. And I'm lining up my camper with the wheel here, and I want the hitch over the edge of the paper. So I've been talking with some of my girls about the reason for doing things like that, and it basically boils down to making your project interesting, because you have a section here that is considered the front of your card, but you have parts hanging over the edge so that it kind of adds to a nice flow of your card, instead of it being just a stiff and rigid, here's a square, here's the stuff, it's in the square, you know what I'm saying? So it just helps it to look a little bit more put together. Alright, and then I'm going to take the backing off of my mossy meadow tree here. And we'll put that one right about there. Actually, let me bring this one down just a little more so it kind of goes with that light pole. There we go. And then the trees for sale sign. Oh, thank you for sharing, Miss Kim. I appreciate it. I love it when you guys share my videos, because it really helps Facebook know that folks like watching the videos, and so it will share it with more and more people, and it gets me seen more and more, which also means that I'm able to see more people and have more people and know more people, and then, oh my gosh, we have a party. All right, now that I have this, I'm going to set that off to the side, and on the inside, I've done a little bit of stamping here, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to set that right there so I remember what I've done. Do you ever have those moments where you looked at it just 2 seconds ago and then full on forgot what you did? Well, that is my world some days. All right, we're taking the mint macaron, and again, the same way that we did on the front, we're going to stamp off one time for that background image, and then place it down. And then take the accent image and line it up right over the top. And then the same thing with the mossy meadow. So I'm going to grab that background image, and there we go. Stamp it down. Very nice. And the accent. And there we go. Very good. Okay. Now then, I need to put the paw prints for the dog. And I like the fact that he's down here running and having a great time. I imagine him being like my my Labrador pal, Apollo. You guys remember the Stampin' Hound that we got from the shelter last year. He's a year old now, and he is massive. He was supposed to be 40 pounds, but we all know how that goes, right? So he's every bit of like 85 pounds, which is huge. But he loves to run and play outside, and especially when it's wet and muddy, because he's white, and he thinks that's so great. You know, I love it too. Of course I do. Yeah, right. All right, now I'm going to bring in my envelope right quick, because I had stamped paw prints across the envelope as well, and since I've already got that stamp out here, I'd like to go ahead and add those little paw prints, because that's about what it looks like when they track the mud into the house. Now he's got another little buddy, which I know you guys have all seen pictures of as well. My my beautiful boxer puppy, who is 6 months old now, and they run and play and frolic together and have the grandest time, terrorizing each other and me. You know, it's wonderful. All right, I'm taking that little stamped and die cut puppy, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to him. You know what I say, a little bit, very thin, a little dab will do ya. All right, there we go. And put him right there. He has just found his friend, and he is so happy. All right, now then, put some Stampin' Seal on the back of it here and put it inside the card. Now, if you notice what just happened there, Stampin' Seal Plus is super, super tough adhesive. And sometimes when you get in a hurry to do this, it will try to lift part of your paper. So all I did was, when it did that, I went backwards just a tiny bit to kind of tack it down, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to take this and put it inside the card, and then this card will be done. And this is my first set of Christmas cards for the year. Yay! I love it. All right. What do you think, guys? Is it pretty? Do you love it? Hi, Miss Kathy. How's it going? What did you say? You love the slimline cards and envelopes. You have a class like Kimberly suggested. Yes, I actually have a Christmas card. It's Christmas in July card class happening Tuesday the 19th. And I've got one of the cards here if you'd like to see a little sneak peek. It's actually inspired by this collection. It's using this collection of products, and I am totally in love with it. It is, seriously, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous card. I love it. Let me set this right here, and I will show you this one. Okay, now I can't tell you the measurements and instructions for this one. Like I said, this one is for my upcoming Christmas in July card class. However, I will tell you that whether you are local and can attend the class in person, or whether you would like to get the card kits and do them on your own, you will be able to get these card kits if you place an order using this host code between now and July 19th. So if you're local to me, you can get the class for free when you place a $50 order, or if you're not local to me, you can get the class kit. However, the stamped images do not get included, so I can die cut everything for you, but you're gonna have the stamp set. Okay, so anyway, I will have more details about that over on my Facebook page. So you'll be able to visit the Stampin' Chick Dana Sullivan on Facebook, click events, and you will find the Christmas in July card class there. Make sure you write down this host code and head over to Stampin' Up and place an order, and I will send you, it is 3 cards, I will send you the 3 card kit for free. So it's absolutely wonderful, and this is just one of the 3 projects, and you're going to love them. They're gorgeous. And, you know, I'm so excited for the cooler weather and everything, and while I'm not trying to rush Santa or anything like that, you know, I don't want to rush Christmas. That's not my thing. I like to wait until closer to the holidays, but I think it's okay to do just a little Christmas in July, right? So it's nice to daydream about a little bit cooler weather while it's 110 degrees outside. And yeah, so anyway, I don't get too over crazy with the Christmas stuff just yet, but very soon I will be hitting the Halloween stuff. I like to do a 13 days of Halloween treats, which is so much fun. It's all 3D projects or gift projects of some kind, and I do a different project like every day. So it's 13 days straight. It'll start the 1st of October and go through mid-October. I don't typically do them on Sundays, so it goes Monday through Saturday, and then Monday through Saturday, you get the idea. Anyway, I may post them on Sundays this time if I can just post them ahead. But anyway, I have in the past done them as a live event. So every day at the same time, I go live. So anyway, we'll see how that works as my schedule allows and all of that good stuff. So anyway, that's something for you guys to look forward to. And yeah, so anyway, thank you all so very much for hanging out with me this evening. Celebration is going on, so of course you can get the dies for free when you place a qualifying order. So go over to my blog. You'll see all of the supplies listed there. Order the stuff that you need for the kits, and you'll qualify for the free dies. So it'll be amazing and you'll love it. And like I said, that Designer Series paper pack is massive, so it's going to last you a really long time. So it's got lots of good stuff in it. Alright guys, thank you all so very much for spending time with me this evening. I really appreciate it. So give me a thumbs up, give me some love. Be sure to share this video if you liked the project. And I will see you all next time, my friends. Until then,